Alright, so this is the first fight against Boba. This is versus Dot Story. Again, I know him as Rice. Last time I fought him, I lost to him because of his Biken and Kron. This time he's actually the Stronghold. So anyways, I asked a couple of guildmates, I'm like, what can I run here that's not dizzy? So they're like, yeah, maybe something like this. So we ended up going with this, and with some off speed tuning, I actually thought that I didn't need a tome, but that I would cut like MLCC so I could break the skill null with Elena's S3 here, but it ended up not doing it. So Elza feels bad, man. Also that MLCC and that Voger is like neck and neck. I think the speed tuning wise, I think Rice wasn't caring about which one went first, but rather just like get as fast and hit as hard as possible. I think that was the point of it, because regardless whether or not RB got the first turn skill null or a second could benefit one way or another depending on the team comp. Now in this case, obviously the skill null here is way better because I'm basically wasting turns where I could have killed him, and then Charles is still protected. But this also meant that the Charles was on a counter set, so in a way it was a lot easier to deal with. I actually get lucky here. I know what happens, but I get an attack down right there, which is good. But he doesn't strip, so I actually get really lucky, and it procs Sigur's Scythe. So it was actually that first part was actually pretty good. The second part was like really risky because from this point on I wouldn't be able to have the damage mitigation needed. So like basically when I went in, I decided, I'm like, oh man, I should have went with C Armin. But I think in C Armin's case, if the speed tuning was such, my ML count would have been stripped because I wouldn't have an effect resistance buff. So there's pros and cons to both. But yeah, I decided not to go for that RB. I had a Celestine on my Elena, and I was just hoping that the RB would hit my Ken. But then I lose my damage mitigation here, which is super scary, but then I get lucky here. No Alexis proc on the greater attack buff, otherwise I would have lost. Again, like I would not recommend this because this is pretty unsafe, to be honest. Like I would still go for like a dizzy. If this is like for anyone watching this and you're fighting like a harder guild and you want to secure the win, I would just go with a tank, dizzy, and a healer. That should be no problem. You guys seen that too much, so I'm really trying to cut down on that, and I'm getting bored of it too. I'm like, I can win, but I can win like by outplaying, you know.
Let's do this.
This is awesome because I've been wanting to use SC Ras a lot. This is the second war that I'm actually using Ras. So if you haven't seen me use Ras before in Guild War, go check out my war versus the Talentless recent one. This is cool because I also get to use ML Angie, and I already said like she's super good, not only dealing with RB, but she deals like a ton of revivers. At this point of this recording, because this is a post-match commentary, we have ML Haste, and ML Haste is coming down the line, and honestly ML Haste really, realistically speaking, only deals with RB pretty much, like that's his use. But Angelica is super flexible. I've been using her a ton in Arena as well. Depending on the order I upload videos, I may have a feature video on ML Angelica. Super good for Guild War offense. Arena, I've actually seen her use in RTA, but she would be a very pocket pick in RTA. Regardless, I'll save my commentary for that, and she becomes the dark bait for ML Chloe too, so it's pretty cool. And of course she's under the umbrella of the 2-turn immortality buff, so in a comp like this, even if May Chloe had a dual attack into her, she would survive, so it's pretty cool.
Let's do this.
And this one was just like testing it, but he eventually that May Chloe showed that he had low resist. Otherwise I wasn't even going for the death break. My assumption was that May Chloe was on high resist. Anyways, that's it for this one.
At least I survived, I guess.
It's the second fight versus Akani. Apparently I bullied this person or something. Yeah, this one's not terrible. If you guys are watching my GVG videos, you know kind of like how I run into this team. So far, it's worked. Like I haven't really faced any problems yet. Maybe in a higher level guild in terms of like their gear level would cause my team to be in a bit more trouble. But so far I've been running this like roughly within like the top 10s. Let's say top 20s, somewhere within like the rank 10 to like 20 or so guilds. Like running this comp hasn't been a problem. Again, I have said this before that I think the critique would be that crow would have to be high effect resistance crow, and not low.
I won't go easy on you.
Yeah, he's an auto comp. Always hold that revive for 1 turn because that's just enough for a crow on Aureus to go down. And if that crow wasn't on an Aureus, you would tell right away and then you can time it better. But regardless, you don't need the revive buff on the first turn. They can't do enough damage. There's no attack buff on Spec Tenny, so if it hits your SSB, it doesn't really matter. If the ML Ken has an attack buff up, whoop-de-doo, no worries, he has an attack buff, but he's gonna go for the light elemental. He's not gonna hit your SSB unless you go and poke the bear. I was trying to provoke Crawl on that one, but at this point I'm like, okay, you know what? This is actually still safe. So you see a 3-turn revive buff, the crowd wouldn't be able to kill anyone because they'll all revive. This one was a bit scary just because of the Aureus on the Searman, so I'm taking more damage there as well. And then just ML Ken himself with an attack buff up. You definitely have to have Water's Origin. If he crit, I think my Chloe would have died in that one right there. But he didn't crit, so I got lucky. It's somewhat risky, but even though my maid died, I was actually fairly confident I would pull through. Now again, SC Ras coming in, this time no Angelica, so all my spotlight can go to him. Fantastic hero. I'm gonna keep saying that. I mean, I think he's actually a pretty decent pick in RTA as well. Just in this video recording today, I was doing an RTA mock battle. I chose Ras and I still won. So he's not a meme at all. He's definitely good. I do recommend people build him. I am also working on a SC Ras feature video as well, so just to show you guys the stats and stuff like that. But yeah, in terms of like tank, he's pretty good. He has good base speed, very high HP pool. It does so much in every single skill, so it's very utility friendly. Yeah, so there's really no threat here. I mean, like we got Charles, only goes for Robbie, but the key is to kill off that Charles anyway. That D-spell came in handy. That dual attack was lucky, but that D-spell is very good.
This won't be an easy fight.
Out of my way.
And that death break is of course really good. 60% death break, 75% D-spell on the S1. So dispel that Charles' attack buff, which really lightens the load. He is on a max Aureus on this one, but I have Draco Plate on my Robbie, and because Ekates has invincibility every 2 turns, if you cycle it properly, you're not gonna receive that much damage. So max Aureus on the Ross is actually a very good idea. This one I was just debating. I'm like, okay, should I go for it? It didn't matter. I ended up just wanting to proc his Immortal ASAP. Calculated that if my Ross did die on this turn, which he didn't, if he died on this turn, I can still kill and solo the SSB and the K-Ron with just Robbie and Ekates. Like, there would be no way they would cut through that. But I got lucky and that K-Ron did not crit. So this did end up being pretty easy. In terms of like, yeah, the SSB was squishy because the Charles was gone. But it definitely was able, like, I could have soloed it and then just revive with Robbie once K-Ron's turn was over, if he had killed my Ras. So it's not super hard here. So even with an attack buff, it didn't do much. Yeah, and I was thinking like, okay, it doesn't matter. I'll keep him alive because again, if he dies, I can revive. That's what the good part about a Robbie here. And then I still landed that to get the death break. So yeah, that was pretty easy. Actually, I could have just finished it off. I don't even know why I waited. I'm looking at this in retrospect. I could have just finished off with the Kates there. But anyways, that was that one.
Bunch of imbeciles.
And this is the last fight versus Carl Bunkel. And then again, yeah, same team on top. Ras, Robbie, and Akates is very safe. And it's quick. It's quick. The thing is, it's actually quicker. I would say it's quicker than Dark Corvus for sure. Because you're really doing a ton of damage, plus really good damage mitigation. So I would say like this is like almost an equivalent to Dark Corvus, Crow, and Akate's team. Because of the defense buff from Ross again, very good, and a lot of people run Charles right now. So like you're not gonna get face tanked like a Crow would. Green versus Ice, he would only go for Robbie, and my Robbie is very tanky, like 24,000 HP. I think it's like 1,400 defense, and almost 24,000. He's 23,650. And she's really tanky, and then I have an Aureus and I have a death buff up. So like there's not really much that he can do. Plus she heals herself on her passive and the S1. So this in a way is a lot safer than a Dark Corvus and Crow, I think. Because you really, if they're on an Elbrus and your Dark Corvus needs his S3 stack, you're gonna get Elbrused once or twice, and it just depends if you have really good builds, of course. I mean, it's the same thing for this, but again, Robbie on counter set will get that HP back, so very good, and it's a lot faster than Dark Corvus, like I said. The immunity on the 2-turn immunity is amazing on the Ross too, with that Death Break. Immunity on the highest attacker that he dual attacks into. Of course, my Robbie got stripped by the Charles during his S2 turn.
If I must fight.
At this point, my Ross is actually not fully skill enhanced, but I actually might do it. I actually think he's worth it. He's actually really cool. Like every bit of damage ends up counting, especially if you're using him on offense. I'm actually going to do it. I really like his character design, and I love his specialty change. For those who watch my GVGs, you do know I like running 3-stars when I can in GVG, especially top Guild Wars. It's not BM, it's just more fun. Again, I think Smallgate, as like a side note, Smallgate should really keep going on with like making some 3-stars viable to compete with some 5-stars, especially after the specialty change. Gives a lot more I guess leniency on our Molagora issues, and also gives you some fun grind, knowing that, oh well, you know, I just spend time on it. I don't need to really invest in my Mola. I don't need to worry about it. You see, that immunity buff is really nice. At this point, there was no threat here. Yeah, if Ross goes into, like, let's say a Spec Tenny, you can use a Spec Tenny on this team, to be honest. If your Spec Tenny is relatively fast, and your Ross is fast too, and maybe you have an attack buffer on the side, like maybe it's a DN, I would probably go with like spectating with a Toggle's Ancient Book, and then just spam the crap out of your targets. Like if it's like Kairon and SSB and Charles, I wouldn't bring Spectani.
No destiny.
But like if it was like an ML Ken in that comp somewhere, I would probably do it. People already use that tactic actually in RTA. Especially change Ras with a very strong A-Ravi or any strong single target damage and Spectani. So if they ban Spectani, you're still left with like this crazy damage. I was trying to proc that crit on the ML Ken on that turn because I wanted the free S2 before I can use my S3. I ended up doing okay because even though I didn't crit that Ken, I still got him in terms of like got him to counter. Yeah, one of the things you want to do again on MLKen is to not use your S3 if you have SSB. Not use the S3 too quick, at least not until his immunity is gone. The tricky part was that that Ras gave him an immunity buff, but it's kind of like I don't know if Carl Bunko actually did it on purpose, where that the MLKen would be on immunity buff longer, so SSBs would technically be harder to, you know, kill with, because you really want to ensure you can actually get the unhealable. But otherwise, I think it would be really good to also have Spectani, the dual attack on the Ras for this defense team. If he has Violin, which I think he might have, I don't remember actually. Maybe, yeah. It looks like my CM was stripped. Then the dual attack with Ras would have been better. But I can see like the problem here, because like MLKen, relatively speaking, a decent one is like 4k attack, and he's self-attack buff, so there's like no way a Spectani actually becomes like the dual attack, because in any turn cycle, unless your Spectani can lap your MLKen, you're never gonna get that dual attack in. But conceptually, that this team, like, I think it could have worked, but I don't know, maybe the attack buff was overlooked. But yeah, Spectani gets the dual attack from the Ras. That's actually a lot more scary because it hits 2 targets. Anyways, that's it for this one. This video is sponsored by Raid. Yeah, I'm not gonna say it. Anyways, I'm gonna end this for the video recording. If you guys have Discord, check out the Discord server. Follow me on Twitter, subscribe to YouTube if you haven't. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.